Steve and his young son were living a peaceful life in one of the most beautiful villages in the Minecraft world. One morning, they decided to go for a walk a little farther from their home. "Come on, let's explore new places," the son shouted as he started running ahead. Steve smiled and followed him, enjoying every step, every laugh, and every adventure. They spent the day enjoying nature. They picked flowers, gathered fruits from trees, and explored new areas. But unfortunately, the beauty didn't last long. Suddenly, the sky darkened. Steve felt something was wrong. He tightly held his son's hand and told him to be careful. Just then, a massive Creeper King appeared in the sky. The Creeper King, with its terrifying power, shook everything around them. "Wait for me. I'm taking your son," it shouted as it snatched Steve's child away. Steve was in shock. Before he knew what had happened, his son was gone. The child's screams echoed in the air, and everything seemed to turn black. Heartbroken, Steve made a decision in that moment: he would do whatever it took to save his son. The thought of going to the Enderworld was terrifying, but there was no other choice. The Creeper King was somewhere there, holding his son captive. Steve immediately headed for the nearest end portal. When Steve passed through the portal, he found himself in a dark and menacing world. All around him were Endermen, tall Ender towers, and distant cliffs. He didn't know exactly where his son was, but his instincts guided him in the right direction. Carefully, Steve navigated through the world, glancing at the ominous Endermen staring at him. A few times, he was attacked by Blaze, but he fought them off with courage. Every battle reminded him how close he was to saving his son. As he descended deeper into the Enderworld, an eerie silence fell over the land. Then, from a distance, there was a huge explosion. Steve's heart raced. That sound came from the Creeper King's fortress. He was so close to hearing his son's voice again. Soon, Steve arrived at the terrifying fortress of the Creeper King. The giant gates and walls seemed almost impenetrable. But Steve had no choice. He had to get inside. The Creeper King was holding his son somewhere in there. The fortress was filled with massive explosions and traps. Steve used his wits to avoid the traps, but as soon as he entered, the Creeper King's enormous guards spotted him. Creeper King laughed, "I admire your courage, Steve. But escaping here will not be easy." The battle began. The Creeper King started launching huge explosions, trying to overwhelm Steve. But Steve's resolve was stronger than ever. With swift and clever moves, he fought off the Creeper King's attacks. The explosion spread everywhere. Steve was almost thrown out of the walls of the fortress, but he couldn't give up now. He had to find his son. Finally, he saw the Creeper King. The king was preparing to release another massive explosion. Steve quickly drew.